For Illini football, 2024 could be described in a number of ways. Call it special, gritty, some may even say improbable. But for the players taking the field, their 9 regular season wins are indicative of the hard work put in since last fall.
A new year brought new teams to the Big Ten, and for the Illini, fresh and familiar playmakers, all eager to make an early statement.
And that's exactly what the Illini did to kick off the season, shutting down Eastern Illinois 45-zip.
Looking forward to the next 11 weeks of play to go keep putting out this play.
And through the first stretch of the season, Illinois held true to their word.
In week 2, the tenacious defense forced 3 turnovers to defend the home turf against number 19 Kansas.
And it wasn't without some help from the faithful fans.
Cheering on our program. I thought this was a great moment, not just for our players, but our fans, right? Can't say thank you enough to that.
Just a week later, the Orange and Blue handled business again against Central Michigan, bringing them to 3-0 and their best start since 2011.
As the page turned to Big Ten play, questions swirled on how the team would handle a hostile Lincoln, Nebraska, in a crowd celebrating 400 straight sellouts.
Behind a 4-touchdown performance from Luke Altmaier, Illinois stayed perfect with an overtime thriller over the Huskers.
I can't say enough about these guys, the attitude they work with, the perseverance, the humility, gratitude. All they've done is made this next week even bigger.
Not just bigger, but massive.
After climbing to 19th in the country, the Illini made a trip to Happy Valley for a date with 9th ranked.
But despite being the first on the board, the strong defense couldn't prevent the Nittany Lions from scoring 21 unanswered points.
And with their first loss of the season, Illinois could have spiraled after a close call with Purdue. Yeah! And when the reigning national champs came to town.
But the U of I kept their cool.
Just not as cool as their throwback uniforms that had everyone talking.
Commemorating the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium's dedication.
Oh, they're sick. I mean, I don't know what everybody else thought, but I thought they were freaking awesome.
But then came the speed bump, forcing fans to pump the brakes on the hype.
After falling to the top team in the country in Oregon, Illinois drops a home match to Minnesota.
But the narrative of late season slips was erased by toppling Michigan State on senior day.
Even when a visit to Rutgers seemed to go sour, Illinois never said die and made the most of one last drop.
Their confidence carried over to the friendly confines where Illinois capped off the season taking down their in-state foe.
While the hardware was nice, the players preached the same message the coaches have delivered all year.
If you look too far forward and you worry about what's ahead of you, like you really can't take advantage of what you're in the moment.
As the winter chill sets in Champaign, the Orange and Blue will journey back to the Sunshine State.
Back in Florida one more time. I go to the beach, rub your feet in the sand.
But it's all business for their showdown with South Carolina.
So strap in with us as we look back on an amazing season.
Yeah! As we go inside the Illini, the road to the Citrus Bowl.
Whew, if that doesn't give you the chills, I don't know what will. Anyway, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Best
time of the year.
Best time of the year, and we have quite the present for you tonight.
That's right. Get comfy as we're going to take you inside the Illini as they're preparing for the Citrus Bowl, a jam-packed show for you guys tonight.
Yeah, can't wait to get to it. We'll have an exclusive one-on-one interview with Brett Bielema. Plus, we're going to have an inside look at the marching Illini and see how they're gearing up for their trip to Orlando. And as we take you through things, we're going to have a stop in from Mark Tupper to give us some insight into that matchup.
It's kind of crazy just looking back through that little bit right there.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people expected the Illini to be where they are. We thought they were maybe going to be.
I was thinking maybe 500 at the beginning of the year and then them to be 9-3. I was like, okay, they showed us all.
They found fire early in the season and they rode that momentum all the way. Well, now let's take a look at Illini's opponent, South Carolina, sitting at number 15 in the college football playoff rankings. The Gamecocks came out of the gates a little slow, but they've gotten hot right at the perfect time. 6 straight wins, putting them at 9-3, just like the Orange and Blue. The impressive season has head coach Shane Beamer taking home that SEC Coach of the Year honors, and there's a lot of mutual respect heading into this game.
They've won 6 straight, right? They lost a heartbreaker against Alabama, and then have won 6 straight games against really good opponents to play. I've been in that league. I know what it's all about. Just congratulations to South Carolina, their fan base, their players. Obviously, a really strong tradition.
And although these two programs are filled with tradition, New Year's Eve is going to be the first meeting for these flagship universities who are both chasing that elusive 10th win.
Well, Illinois is no stranger to the Citrus Bowl, however. Let's turn back the clock a little bit to the last time the Illini made the trip to Orlando. 1990. We weren't even born then, Jake. Jeff George and Howard Griffith led the Illini in orange and blue to a 31-21 win over Virginia in what was then called the Florida Citrus Bowl.
That's right, guys. And the last time Brett Bielema was in the Citrus Bowl, we have to go back to 2006. But it was also the first time he won as a head coach when he was at Wisconsin. I sat down with Coach to talk about his historic season at Illinois. Well, Coach, congrats on the great year, 9-3, heading to the Citrus Bowl. Just after heading into the season, did you know after losing, those players from last year that you guys could have this success this year?
I thought even going back to our first meeting in January, I just liked the makeup of our room. I knew we were going to add a couple more pieces. The way college football lays out the way we are now, like you literally added pieces of the puzzle all the way up to almost right before camp, right? But the core of who we are, what we are, I really liked it. I thought we have a lot of depth. I thought we have some elite players, right? And those guys played at a high level this year. So kind of came together. I'd like to have a few more, but excited about the last one.
Definitely. And just having, that success you guys had, how much fun has it been with this group of guys this year?
It really is a fun group. Every day we started meeting in here at 7 a.m. During the fall, and it's probably the best 5 minutes of my day, right? Just to come in, hear their energy. Also, some of the trials and tribulations, right? Even though they're tough moments, to go through with some of these kids, see them grow, see them turn into the young men that they are. It's truly one of the more rewarding parts of my job.
Definitely. And 9-3, 6-1 at home, having 3 top 25 wins, getting to celebrate with your girls and wife on the field. How much fun was that for you? I saw at the end of the year they're waving to fans as they're leaving the field with you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Even like this week, we're getting ready for a preparation to go to the bowl game, and when we went 2 years ago versus this year, they kind of know what's coming now, and they're so excited to get to Orlando. They talk about the game, they talk about the environment, they love being around our players. For me as a father, it's truly some pretty special memories, and to get a hug and a kiss from my wife's not a bad deal either.
Definitely, and having 100th year at Memorial Stadium this year, have the historic season you guys have had. How special is that, especially with what this year kind of meant leading into it?
I think about it like that moment was created over 100 years ago, right? To have it come full circle, to have it be a memorial, to have it be a game against Michigan, to have 2 ranked opponents be on the field that day. Josh Whitman, our AD, I know put in a lot of investment in time and hours. Some of his staff had planned that game for 2 or 3 years out, right? So to lay it out and have it play out the way it did, a very special season to be 6-1 here at home, and to have that Michigan game be a part of that was really cool.
Definitely, and let's talk players now. Pat Bryant sitting out of this game, but a big player for you guys this year. Just what kind of a player is he, and what did he mean to this team this year?
The great thing is, as good as he was this year, I still think his best football's in front of him. He's a big receiver with a big catch radius. He makes a lot of big-time plays. Came up, I believe, had 3 game-winning touchdowns, right, that in the final seconds. Obviously, everybody will remember that Rutgers game, but he just has created a lot of special memories in Illinois football history. Now to see him make that opportunity to go into that next level is pretty awesome, and I think what he did here is just going to be a small scratch of what he does in the NFL.
And to have him stay for 4 years, how rare is that, especially in college football now?
Well, I think it's a testament to who Pat is, right? And first off, his mom and dad are incredibly great people. Very, very much proud of the growth he made here at Illinois, but part of what he did here was because of what they did before he ever got here, right? And he is a very loyal kid. I do know people tried to come at him a year ago, and he just did what Pat does. He just stays, keeps his head down, and works, and that's part of the reason why he's had so much success.
Definitely. And Luke, 180 from last year. What have you seen from him growing this year to have the season he's been able to have?
Well, first skill sets, right? Like as a quarterback, you got to be able to throw it, but as a quarterback, you got to process, understand, and read. He's probably doing that at a high level. And to sit in a meeting room with him and hear him talk and regurgitate what he's seen on film, and to see that play out in front of him is pretty awesome. So, yeah, I couldn't be more happy for him and who he is and what he's done. But the good news is he's coming back for another one, and I think what we saw a year ago is a great surface, a great stepping stone into what I think he can be.
Definitely. And now let's talk the opponent for Citrus Bowl, South Carolina. What do you guys know about them that you're preparing for now?
Well, first off, very talented, one of the hottest teams in college football. They won their last 6 games. Offensively, they got a very dynamic playmaker, and the quarterback has a lot of really good pieces around him at running back, offensive line. Then on defense, they just got a bunch of really, really good rushers up front, edge players, got really good deep secondary. Special teams are very opportunistic, and Coach Beamer's done a great job putting them there. But so it's a tremendous challenge. Only fitting that probably the best opponent we've seen all year is going to be this last opponent. Obviously played some really good teams in the fall, but I think this South Carolina team is playing at a high level.
And what will you guys have to do on New Year's Eve to, hopefully get that win?
Yeah, I think two things. The best version of Illinois has got to show up, right? Like, we've had a couple good practices. I really like the way our guys are focused and the way they're working. They're balancing, finals week and everything going into it, but our guys have really done a nice job at practice. So I'm excited. We'll get 3 practices in down there, so I'm really looking forward to see where their mind's at. Give them a couple days here to go home, enjoy the holidays with their family, and the Illinois team I see practice has got to be the one that shows up.
Definitely. And just one last question. To get to a bowl game on this season, 100 years at Memorial Stadium, hopefully 10th win of the year, just what does that mean for this program to make it to a bowl game?
Well, I think we're taking steps forward, right? We keep hearing every time we accomplish something, they always say, well, they haven't done this since then, right? And I'm excited to build that and grow that, but I think like our ticket sales, the bowl ticket sales have been awesome. The attraction that we're getting nationally from recruits whether it be in the high school world, the recruiting window, the portal, wherever it's at, like I think people are noticing Illinois football, and that's positive.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
And good luck in the bowl game.
Appreciate it, ILL.
Good stuff, Adina and Coach B right there. The Citrus Bowl is going to be Illinois' second bowl in Florida in 3 years. 2 years ago, the Orange and Blue played in the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa Bay, where they fell at the hands of Mississippi State. Now, in their 20 bowl appearances, the Illini are 8-12 and haven't fared very well lately, losing 3 straight. Their last win coming against UCLA in the 2011 Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl.
Well, it's the question that we have to ask every bowl season: which players are opting out? Coming up, we'll break down the opt-outs that will affect the Illini and the Gamecocks. And then later, take a breath, Illini fans. Luke Altmaier is coming back next year. He explains his decision to return to the Orange and Blue.
Well, I want to ask you guys, I know there's a lot to choose from, but do you have a favorite Pat Bryant moment?
For me personally, I had the chance to go watch them play at Nebraska, and that was such a big game that kind of set the standard for what this season was going to be. To have 2 touchdowns in that game on the opening possession, and then the final gut punch to Nebraska to win that game, I thought was huge.
Yeah, I think I'm between the Rutgers touchdown on 4th and 18, I think it was, or even the Purdue overtime touchdown, made it onto Sports Center for that place. I mean, he's had a great season for them. So, but like we said, Bryant did have a record-breaking year. He was second in big time in receiving yards, second in receiving touchdowns with 10, which also tied Brandon Lloyd for single-season program record. Bryant has also been a proud to be the team captain for this year, and he's especially proud to etch his name in Illini history.
It was amazing, man, especially, in a rivalry game like this. Not only scoring a touchdown, but helping my team, get that hat back was a very, very special moment. I actually saw Brandon Lloyd on the sideline before the game, and so he came just to, watch me, get a record, a shot. And it was a very special moment, just, knowing that all the work I put in, over the last 4 years finally paid off.
And unfortunately, the Illini will not be able to take part in the advantage of Bryant's superstar abilities. The wide receiver is opting out of the bowl game to prepare for the NFL draft.
But the Gamecocks will be shorthanded as well in Orlando. They're going to be without defensive end Kyle Kennard. Kennard took home the Nagurski Trophy, which goes to the best defensive player in the country. He led the SEC in sacks and tackles for loss and is projected to be a first-round pick. So a bit of an eye for an eye situation. Gamecocks down their best defensive player, Illini down their best offensive player.
Well, now it's also that weird time frame where the bowl season interacts with the transfer portal. Here's some of the notable Illini that are in the transfer portal: wide receiver Kanari Wilshire, backup QB Donovan Leary, and Hugh Robertson, who's also been the Illini's starting punter the last 3 seasons. And even though they're in the portal, Brett Bielema is still giving some of those guys a chance to play in the bowl game.
The kids that I build relationships with, my opinion of who they are and what they are doesn't change, and I want them to be successful once they're past here. So that's really not the norm. I get it, but it's something I really believe in, giving these guys an opportunity.
Yeah, it's kind of that weird part that we see right now, and even like Penn State is getting ready for a playoff game, and their backup quarterback having to look at his other options, and he's in the portal.
It makes it for an interesting time in college football where you have these sort of things intersecting, and I know that the NCAA is going to have to take that into account moving forward. Is how do we find this balance? Because otherwise, these kids have to be in classes for next semester for their new schools.
Definitely. Tupper and I talked early in the season. It's just like a revolving door when it comes to the portal. So you never know who's entering or who's going to leave it. So it's a very weird dynamic of college athletics all over the place.
Absolutely. But the portal can't capture everyone. There is one prominent Illini who just last week made an announcement that Illini fans had been sitting on pins and needles for.
This community means so much to me. I love it here. I don't know how I can ever leave. I'm just so excited for next season and playing for you guys.
Luke Altmaier got up in front of 16,000 Rowdy fans at the State Farm Center to announce his return. The Illini quarterback saying no thank you to the transfer portal, and it's no secret that he would have had plenty of suitors. The Illini quarterback was 10th in the Big Ten in passing yards, 4th in passing touchdowns, and 6th in quarterback rating. And although those numbers would draw plenty of attention from other programs, Altmaier says Champaign was always the place for him.
It's been a long journey, a lot of ups and downs, and didn't really want to start over, to be honest with you, and love where I'm at. Like I said on the court, man, like I really enjoy being here. I love the coaches I do it with, love the teammates I do it with, love the leadership from Coach B, the communication. Feel like this will really prepare me for the next level if the Lord takes me there, and just really excited about where we can go as a team.
You heard Luke talk about those ups and downs for a guy that lost his starting gig last year as the Illini rode the hot hand in John Paddock. But now he's a fan favorite and has found his home.
That's right, and still to come inside the Illini, Central Illinois' finest, the kids from the 217 that made their mark with the orange and blue this season. Then later,
the nation's first collegiate marching band has booked their trip tomorrow. How they're preparing for the big stage. Well, since Brett Bielema took over, there's been a strong emphasis on recruiting in-state talent.
Yeah, there are a handful of guys that were once featured on the Friday Frenzy, but are now making plays for the orange and blue just down the road.
That's right. Rochester's very own Hank Beatty made plays on special teams as a punt returner and a wide receiver. He had a crucial catch against Purdue that helped send the game into overtime. And in the return game, he also had the highest punt return average in the Big Ten. Next, Gibson City's native Aiden Lawfrey opened eyes in the running game late in the season, especially in the regular season finale against Northwestern, where he had a career day scoring 3 rushing touchdowns. And Atwood's Caden Fagan started the season off strong, but had a season-ending injury. He played in 5 games and ran for 306 yards, scoring 3 touchdowns.
I said it in my opening presser, I wasn't just trying to, win the press conference. I believe it. Great organizations are built from within, right? And I think that Illinois has to be built by Illinois players. We got a guy like Aiden Lawfrey, but you can't just ignore Hank Beatty, right down the street at Rochester. Hank Beatty has probably had just as much of our success here in November as anybody, and those little things mean a lot.
That's right, and the success the Illini have had on the field this season has helped them reel in even more homegrown talent. Mount Zion's Braden Trimble and Maroa Forsyth's Grant Smith both put pen to paper to keep their football careers alive with the Illini. Both of those guys were Athletes of the Week this season in a year where they helped to lead both their teams to the state title games. Trimble and Smith alike each say that the faith and support that they've had from their communities has ensured that they were making the right decision to play with Illinois.
Illinois wanted me from day one. I mean, these other schools want to come in late. I've asserted what I can do much, but I've been doing this my whole career in high school, and so Illinois seen that from the get-go and not really switching up on me and showing me that they wanted me from day one.
Knowing they're going to back me through this whole thing, it's great, but also Illinois being family-based, it's just altogether just a great decision. This Maroa Forsyth community revolving around football, it's just great to have everyone behind me.
It's that old saying, isn't it, Tyler? Home is where the heart is.
You can say that again, Jake. The Citrus Bowl is going to be a homecoming for many Illini. 17 different players on this year's squad hail from the Sunshine State. Now, Pat Bryan, who we told you earlier, will not be playing in this game. On defense, guys like Xavier Scott and Gabe Akis. And then there's Dennis Briggs Jr., who is actually from the Orlando area. Briggs transferred to Illinois this season from Florida State, and he's already played at Camping World Stadium in what was then known as the Cheez-It Bowl. Not the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. He helped the Noles take down Oklahoma 35-32. The Illini football team, not the only ones packing it up for Orlando, so is the nation's oldest collegiate band program, the Marching Illini. And folks, they're ready to help set the tone at the Citrus Bowl.
A game day at Memorial Stadium is not complete without touchdowns, cheers, and of course, the Marching Illini.
I kind of share with our students that they're the keepers of tradition, and of course all the music, the soundtrack of game day, if you will. The Marching Illini is a big part of that, and these students make that soundtrack and the atmosphere, hopefully an electric environment.
And just like a wide receiver needs to know which route he's running, every Marching Illini member needs to know their plays as well.
Plays for us are going to be right notes, right rhythms, making sure you know where you're supposed to go on the field.
That pressure to hit all the right beats gets even more amplified when you get to play at the Citrus Bowl.
I think there's a lot of anxiety and sometimes nerves that kick into it when you're going out there and performing on a national stage like this.
Now, the logistics of the trip does have its challenges. We're talking over 1,000 miles to travel, 400 students, all the equipment, and you've got to plan out some pit stops as well.
We can't just stop at the local McDonald's and bombard them. It'll take 3 hours to do that.
But all of that mileage is well worth it when you get to be a part of one more game day experience.
Of course, Orlando is going to be a great destination, and supporting the Fighting Illini football team on top of it's just icing on the cake. It's going to be great.
Well, the Marching Illini will have plenty of bowl events. To see how you can stay up to date on their trip to Orlando, just head to our website, WANDTV.com. Medina, what's coming up?
Well, get ready for a special edition of Tupper's Take. Mark Tupper will tell us which powerhouse team South Carolina reminds him of, plus how Luke Altmaier's SEC experience can come in handy. Tupper's Take is next. Welcome in for another Tupper's Take. Adina Balser, Mark Tupper. Mark, we're talking football. This Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, Illinois heading to it to play on New Year's Eve. They're facing South Carolina. You said they kind of remind you of a team they already played this year.
Well, a little bit. And that team, unfortunately, is Oregon. Because these SEC teams have a speed differential that Illinois isn't going to be able to match. That's my fear. I'd like to be optimistic in this thing, but I'm feeling like 36-10, 36-13 in favor of South Carolina.
Okay.
I know Illini fans won't like me for that, but I just think that I knew this would happen. You know, you're going to get to play an SEC team in one of these bowls, and you know the answer is you just go out and recruit faster players. Yeah. And this 9-3 season should help them do that. For sure, and obviously Luke announced he's returning for next year too, so obviously a bright future hopefully for the team, and hopefully he can show that he can hang with these kind of teams in the Citrus Bowl. Yeah, and we should remember he was an SEC player, so he knows what this is all about. Yeah. But that was a nice announcement at the basketball game when he dropped that on everybody. So bring me some Cheez-Its. We'll try to. And if you bring me an Illini victory, all the better. There we go. I'll even try to bring some warmer weather too, hopefully. You're doing great. You hit the trifecta. All right, well, thank you so much. Have a Merry Christmas. Thank you. Guys, back to you.
Well, thanks, guys. Here's some of our picks. We have Mark Tupper saying it's going to be 36-13 South Carolina, and I guess I'm in the same boat. Hey, we're just trying to give Brett Bielema a little bulletin board material.
I respect it.
You know, just going up against an SEC squad like South Carolina, who is hung with some of the best teams in the nation. I think it's going to be a tough get for the Illini, but I think it's going to be, I think we were talking the other day, it's going to be like the Penn State game. They'll stick around
I think they'll stick around for like the third quarter. See if they can hang a full 4 quarters. I have them winning, though, 31-28. So.
You forgot your pick.
I did. My brain went blank for a second. I'm like, wait, what's going on? But yeah, I have them winning. I've been sticking with them all season with those underdog games. They like being the underdogs, too, this season.
They've embraced it. Yeah, and they've had a lot of fight in them, and I think they're not ready to lie down lightly in this final game of the season. I got them winning 30-26 over South Carolina. I like the momentum that they've had, and they're not really losing too many weapons going into this game just because of opt-outs and stuff like that. So I like the idea of that, you know, all that talent carrying over into this bowl game to round out the year.
Does the winner get Cheez-Its poured on them?
I would like to think so. You get a little bit of, you know, you get a little post-game snack. And
get a box of Cheez-Its.
Yeah, and somebody can bring the juice pouches as well. Well, bowl season is also the season of giving. Still to come on Inside the Illini, how the Illini football team helped make Christmas wishes become reality. Thanks for sticking with us. Hope you've had a very Merry Christmas. Before heading to the Sunshine State, the Illini football squad wanted to make sure that they gave back to their community and gave them a perfect Christmas. WAND's Ben Mackey takes us to Urbana, where young moms were taken on a Christmas shopping spree.
Need toys for Christmas.
We do this every year. It's for teenage moms, and so it's a great opportunity for us to come out here and be positive role models in the community, and it's just really good to build these relationships in the community and be a source of light for young people in the community.
Each mom gets a budget to pick out anything they want to buy for their kids, and Illini players help grab the items and push the carts, while head coach Brett Bielema picks up the tab.
It was great, great experience, great environment. Everybody was happy, laughing. It was great to just come in here and, see us be able to make a change, and I was more than excited for that. So I'm really happy that we can be back and make a difference here.
Some of the kids even tagging along to pick out their own gifts.
Let's see. It's something we all look forward to, to get out here and do this. Like I said, we've been doing it a couple years in a row, and it's something that we're happy to do and come out here and make a difference in the community.
Just another way for Illini football to support the community that cheers them on every Saturday.
Thank you for, the support and us being able to do this. I'm happy that we're able to come here and make a change and really show these women, some real love.
In Urbana, Ben Mackey, WAND News.
Yeah, that's what Christmas is all about.
Absolutely.
Did you guys get what you wanted for Christmas, by the way?
I did.
I'm very happy with what I got, and thanks so much to so many of you for supporting us throughout the year, and Merry Christmas to you at home as well.
The best Christmas present, though, would come on New Year's Eve, an Illini victory at the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
We're going to be rocking the orange with another Tupper then.
And make sure to follow us. Me and Adina are going to be making the trip. Jason will be back here running the show, so we're going to have a lot of coverage the next few days, so it's going to be really exciting leading up to kickoff. So
I'm excited for the warm weather.
Oh, we're going to bring it back. Folks, have a very Merry Christmas. That's Inside the Illini. ILL, baby.
I and I.
Oh, no.